Hey guys, welcome back to Adventurecruiser. Now, if you've been listening to the news at all recently, you've been hearing about these pagers and two-way radios that are spontaneously combusting. Now, there has been some talk of C4 being in them. I only have two Cs. I can't figure out how that works. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I do have an APX6000 that I bought off eBay, and my memory was jogged when I started hearing about all of these spontaneous explosions. And that there could be a tie to Israel. And it got me thinking, I actually bought this radio off eBay and it was shipped from Israel. So I wanted to see if there was any explosive in it. Now, clearly, I know there's no explosive in this. I have taken it apart, but it's a great opportunity for me to demonstrate what is on the inside of these radios. Now, in order to disassemble an Apex, now this is true for the 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and 8,000, for the most part with mild differences. You're first taking the speaker cover off. And that is with a Torx, I need my glasses. It's a Torx 9, T9. Really ought to be wearing glasses for this. And you're gonna take the speaker grill off, then you're gonna take the speaker out. I have a feeling I've grabbed the wrong bit, but we are bullheadedly going to push forward no matter what. I always grab under these two little guys, pull the speaker module. Now, this style of speaker is the same for the 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and 8,000, though there are differences in the different generations, including some of the colors of the seals, but more importantly, the power output. I think, if I remember right, a big push for the 8,000 was to increase this to 3 watts from 1 watt, but I could have my numbers wrong, but that's what I recall. All the screws are different. So, as you will see, these two have tall shoulders, these have short shoulders. Then at the base, you have very, very short screws. Now, there are two major generational shifts on the clamshell that goes around this radio. There's the 3-piece case and the 1-piece case. And I don't remember, oh, this is the 3-piece. So once you remove those 6 screws from these 6 positions, this front face comes off. This is your keypad, your left and right scales. This is your display and physical keypad. And this is where one of the watertight seals is. Now, I'm gonna get some trash, I'm sure, for how I'm disassembling this. But to be honest with you, unlike Harris radios, I've never had a ribbon cable fail when I've pulled one of these apart. The Harris radios, like specifically the XG100, you grab a little ribbon cable from the side and the connectors disintegrate, the ribbons split, it's awful. So we'll pull that aside. This is your RF board. And look at that, I've already taken this one apart. There is no screw in it. The RF board has a direct tie to a coax that goes into a coax connector here on the back of the RF board. Now, I am not doing this the correct way, and I am not telling you that this is the way you need to handle electronics, but this is mine, and I'm having fun with it, and I'm disassembling it to show you what's inside an Apex radio, so don't judge me, or I will skip a video for you. No. I'll still make the video, don't worry. Eventually. All right. The RF boards on these radios are entirely different from frequency, range, and generation of radio. In my experience, there is an AN board and a BN board. A AN board will not fit in a BN boarded radio, but a BN 6000 board will fit in a BN 8000 radio, and an APX6000 RF board will fit in a 6000 BN radio. It's not as easy as swapping components. There's a lot more to it. You have to have special software to actually get that to work. This I was lucky enough to find on eBay, and it was the right band split for what this radio had been. Let me back up. When I bought this radio and it was shipped from Israel, it was advertised as a 6,000 or 5,000 with no RF board. So it had no board here. I was able to find a UHF-1 RF board that matched, plugged it in, and it actually worked after an update. So that was pretty remarkable. This was on version 4. I couldn't read the radio, but it would give me some indications that it was on version 4 software once I put these together. So that was pretty cool. But don't think you can just buy an RF board, plop it in any old APX radio, and then bada bing, bada boom, you convert it to 700-800 megahertz split to a VHF or UHF. It is not that simple. But this is the RF board. Sometimes, like this one here says UHF R1, sometimes they will say what the band split is, and sometimes they won't. So you may have to research based off of the part number. There's not a lot of easily accessible information on these. It is interesting to note that there is a very small battery built into here, and I'm not an electronics expert, but I would assume that has something to do with maybe remembering your tuning and alignment. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm about out of the names for these different boards, but I do have some experience taking the different boards apart because I am just a curious guy. So just bear with me. Enjoy it if you wish. Shut it off if you don't. But there are a number of ribbon cables that attach to these different logic boards. And if you gently put a fingernail under them and gently unfold them, they will fold out of the way. Like that. So one more screw on this one. Now remember, there should have been one on the RF board, but because this is just a Frankenstein radio, I think I lost it, or it didn't come with it. Oh, that's right, it didn't come because there wasn't an RF board, and when I got this, there wasn't a screw, and I simply haven't ordered one. Okay, so I've undone the screw here. I've undone these ribbon cables here. And those of you who are true electronics experts, you may want to look away because I am not employing best practices for handling electronics. Okay, so this is the next board to come out. Again, this is the one that has 2 ribbon cables, one on either side. That comes out. Be very gentle with these. I have not broken one, but they are really, really problematic if you do destroy those. Then this one is actually not easily removed unless you reach way up under here with my intrinsically safe, electronically certified, non-metallic screwdriver. And once you remove the ribbon cable from the top display, that comes out. Now we're getting close to being done removing all the different components, but you have a nut on top of the antenna. This is the correct tool for removing the antenna nut. This is a Motorola marketed, I don't know if they made it. I want to say it's a castle nut tool. I don't really know what it's called. I have bought versions from Amazon and they were junk. They did not fit this properly, but you can also take some very fine needle nose pliers, stick them in there and rotate that. But we're going to gently but firmly pull off the power button or power knob and the channel selector knob. We're going to take this fancy tool, release the nut over the antenna, and then we're going to use the other end of this guy to fit into the power and volume knob. And there you go. Oh, that's a bummer. This one came off in a way that it's not supposed to. Do you see how this, stop it, magnetic things, great for electronics. You see how this is a flat disc and this is threaded ever so slightly with the indents here. This is actually the retainer for the switch, and it's supposed to separate here. This is supposed to unscrew from this, but this radio has clearly been abused, which is why I don't mind completely disassembling it here and now. Now, when you remove these two retaining nuts, your tendency will be to just pull it straight off, but there is actually a friction fit between the clear and secure knob that you have to gently work off. There you go. And that clear encryption selection knob rotates within the radio, and there are bosses that stick out and attach to this level of the switch here, and they rotate to select the optional features. Oh man, all my little dirty secrets are coming out. See, I forgot that screw too when I put this thing together, because I'm just playing around, guys. Don't be so serious. Yeah, why are all these the wrong ones? Anyways, clearly this is a Franken radio, so don't judge me for missing screws. And it's not for sale, so I don't feel like I would be hurting anyone by only putting in one of the screws, not both of them. But once you remove the two castle nuts that hold this assembly together, then you remove those two screws, then the top display is removable. Don't drop it, and there you go. Now, see how this is wobbling in here? That is because this entire assembly came off the switch rather than just the capture nut. So that is an APX6000 in all of its glory, almost completely disassembled. I think the only remaining item that I can take off of this is this coax assembly for the antenna. When you break a chassis down, or if you were to order a new one from any of the usual suppliers, they will come with the PTT button and the purple and two side buttons already attached, as well as the microphone connector. It's important to note that, again, this is an AN style connector for a 6000. So you can't take any radio that has these three and swap in a board, even if you had access to somebody who could reprogram it for you. The parts will physically not fit in this chassis. I'm just a curious guy, so I'm playing around with this. That's how I know. Don't judge me. But this is essentially the heart and soul. Now, to get back to the original opening statement, could you put explosives in this? Well, no, I don't think you could. I think that Motorola really does a great job of maximizing all available real estate within their radios, and it's just unique. It's really unique what's been going on in the world right now. I don't even know what to say. I'm impressed, I'm astonished, I'm just a little scared. All of the above. Part of me wants to end the video here. So if you want to end the video, I am totally okay with that. The other part of me says you can't leave it like this, you gotta put it back together. So I'm going to bid you adieu, and I'm going to put everything back together. If you are still watching and you are content to watch me make an utter fool of myself as I reassemble this, I'm okay with that, and I'm hopefully going to enjoy your company. But I just want to encourage you guys that if you buy things you don't understand, take them apart. Understand them. Learn how they work. Learn what makes them special and unique. What I like about this radio is that it is waterproof, among other things that I like. But when I've taken these apart and I go, oh my gosh, you've got one massive seal here, you've got seals here, you have a big seal here, and a seal here on the front of the keypad. I'm like, golly, the amount of engineering, seal here. The amount of engineering that goes into these things is just absolutely remarkable. I love it. I love finely built things. I'm not a pretentious person, but I appreciate craftsmanship. So what do you guys think is happening with those radios? What do you think is triggering the radios? I'm going to try and post a couple of links to like Ringway Manchester and a couple other ham guys that are commenting on it. But man, I'd be really nervous about collateral damage if it was as simple as a DTMF based activation. By the way, test all these switches before you go to the next step. Make sure they work. I mean, could you imagine if some guy just accidentally was messing around with his radio, or his kid grabbed a radio and started playing with the keypad, issuing a DTMF signal, and that caused thousands of people to be injured and hundreds or dozens killed? That would not go well for many people. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you think is happening or how they're activating it. I don't really want any sort of international or trade secrets or anything like that. I'm just curious. I mean, it seems like such a well-orchestrated, devastating event. Just incredible. Okay, so firmly press down both of those ribbon cables. Make sure that these are well seated. This is a challenging one here. Those connections. I can't wait for a proper radio tech to watch what I'm doing and just tell me everything I'm doing wrong. I know I'm doing it wrong. There's no secret there. I'm not pretending that I'm doing it right. I'm just showing you. Okay, so what I just did here was I lined up the Wi-Fi antenna connector and the coax going to the actual radio antenna here, and then from the back side, I pressed it down. Now, some radios have a small plastic toggle that fits in here and goes to the side. If your radio doesn't have that, clearly it's been Frankensteined, just saying. So holding all these together, we are going to pretend that I am putting the RF board screw back in as well. But we're not, because I don't have it. Okay, so that's that. Next on is the faceplate. Connect there, fold over. I always double check these seals. In this case, I'm not worrying about it. This radio is just a mess around radio. I'm never gonna take it in a wet environment. So I'm not being as careful as I could. And I'm certainly not telling you to take your radios apart. But you might as well enjoy me ruining my stuff, right? Okay, so make sure that you're holding these two clamshells together as you put the side scales on, then this front panel. Now we're going to start returning the actual chassis screws. This has a catch that fits into a hole here. Put it in, set it down. These shoulder screws go here. Now, one cool thing about these screws is this is a plastic element, and they being Motorola, recognize that using plastic as a buffer between two metal objects to try and clamp those together to provide a watertight seal is a potential for failure. Plastic fatigues, plastic compresses. It is, by nature of the term plastic, meaning movable. These screws are really cool because the seating surface is actually this ridge here, not this chamfer. We'll put that guy in there, press down, screw down snugly. Now there is a torque spec for these, I'm sure, but I employ the German method of Gutentight. That goes in there. These two in here. Do a once over on it. Something doesn't look right there. What did I do wrong? You know what? I think it's because I bought a cheap eBay three-piece set for this because the other one was just knackered. Put that in. Antenna. There we go. It's back up and running. Now, I'm sure there's a whole multitude of things wrong with this radio now. Everything from I've broken the vacuum seal, which apparently is a test. You're supposed to test this vacuum port, I think there. I have ruined the waterproof integrity of it. If it were an intrinsically safe radio, I've ruined that. I did not torque everything properly. I was not using a static grounding connection. I mean, there's a ton I did wrong on this. I understand that completely. But I've done it a lot on these radios, just playing. I take everything apart. And I have yet to really ruin one of these. I have yet to really ruin two of these. I did ruin one. But that's all I've got for you. If you hung with me this long, I really appreciate your time. I know your time is valuable. And I'm really grateful for your viewership. And I'm really grateful for all the comments I get. Thanks, everybody. Take care and have a great day.